Imagine you're walking through a dense forest. No cities, no roads, no smartphones, no civilization. Just a small group of humans living off the land. Then one of them does something strange. He throws a handful of leaves into a fire. A thick cloud rises into the air. He leans forward, breathes it in, and feels something. A rush, a calmness, a different state of mind. That moment may have changed human history forever, because long before cigarettes, long before tobacco companies, long before warning labels, humans were already smoking. But why? Who was the first smoker? And how did a strange ritual become an addiction shared by over 1 billion people today? This is the story of humanity's oldest drug habit. Here's the surprising part. Humans didn't start smoking because they were bored. They didn't do it for fun. And they definitely didn't invent cigarettes. For most of human history, smoking wasn't recreational. It was spiritual. Archaeologists have found evidence that ancient people in the Americas were using tobacco more than 8,000 years ago. Think about that. The pyramids hadn't been built. Writing didn't exist. Most humans were still hunter-gatherers. Yet tobacco was already part of human culture. Ancient shamans believed smoke connected the human world to the spirit world. When smoke rose into the sky, they believed prayers traveled with it. The act of smoking wasn't a habit, it was a ceremony, a gateway, a tool for communicating with gods, ancestors, and unseen forces. To ancient humans, smoke was magic. But here's what made tobacco different. Nature created a chemical weapon, nicotine. Plants can't run away from predators. They can't fight back. So over millions of years, many plants evolved toxins to protect themselves. And nicotine is one of them. Its original purpose wasn't to help humans relax. Its purpose was to poison insects that tried to eat the plant. Yet somehow humans discovered something incredible. In small doses, nicotine doesn't kill us. Instead, it hijacks our brains. Within seconds of inhalation, nicotine reaches the brain and triggers powerful chemical reactions. Dopamine, attention, alertness, pleasure. Ancient people had no idea what neurotransmitters were, but they knew one thing. Smoking changed how they felt. And once humans discover something that changes how they feel, history tends to follow. Imagine you're living thousands of years ago. You're sitting around a fire after sunset. The world is mysterious. Storms seem supernatural. Disease appears without warning. Death is everywhere. Then you watch your tribe's shaman disappear into a smoke-filled hut. Hours later, he emerges claiming to have spoken with spirits, predicting weather, giving advice, healing the sick. Now imagine witnessing this without any understanding of biology, chemistry, or neuroscience. It would feel magical. Many ancient cultures believed altered states of consciousness revealed hidden truths, and smoking became one of the fastest ways to reach those states. Not because the spirits were necessarily speaking, but because the human brain is remarkably easy to influence. The ancient world didn't know it, but they were conducting experiments on consciousness, thousands of years before science could explain what was happening. For centuries, smoking remained largely confined to the Americas. Then one event changed everything. In 1492, Europeans arrived in the New World, and they encountered something strange: people inhaling smoke. At first, many Europeans were confused. Some thought it looked absurd. Others thought it looked dangerous. Some believed it might be medicine, but they all noticed one thing. People seemed to enjoy it, a lot. So tobacco crossed the Atlantic Ocean, and once it reached Europe, it spread with astonishing speed. Kings smoked, sailors smoked, merchants smoked, farmers smoked, priests smoked, soldiers smoked. Within a few centuries, tobacco had traveled across continents. What began as a sacred ritual became a global commodity, one of the most successful products humanity had ever encountered. And the reason wasn't culture alone, it was biology. Remember nicotine, the plant toxin? It had discovered the ultimate loophole, the human reward system. Every puff delivered a tiny reward, not enough to overwhelm the brain, just enough to encourage another puff, then another, and another. It's the same principle behind many modern addictions: small rewards, repeated endlessly. The first smokers never intended this. The ancient shamans never imagined it. Yet tobacco had accidentally evolved the perfect strategy for survival, by making humans want more of it. In a strange way, the plant was using us, more than we were using it. Think about that for a moment. A plant evolved a chemical defense against insects. Thousands of years later, that same chemical had convinced humans to cultivate it, transport it, protect it, trade it, and spread it around the entire planet. Few species have ever been so successful, and tobacco achieved it without moving a single step. But this story isn't really about smoking. It's about being human. Our ancestors evolved in a world where rewards were rare. Food was scarce, comfort was limited, pleasure was temporary. So the human brain evolved to chase anything that improved survival. More food, more safety, more social connection, more pleasure. That system worked beautifully for hundreds of thousands of years. Then civilization arrived, and suddenly humans found ways to trigger those reward systems artificially. Tobacco was one of the first examples, but it certainly wasn't the last. Today, the same ancient brain circuits are targeted everywhere. Social media notifications, video games, streaming platforms, online shopping, endless scrolling. The modern world is filled with things designed to capture attention and keep us coming back. The technology is different, but the psychology is ancient. The story of smoking reveals something profound. Human beings are incredibly intelligent. We built cities, crossed oceans, landed on the moon, created the internet. Yet we still carry a brain shaped by a very different world. A brain that can be persuaded, manipulated, rewarded, and sometimes exploited. Somewhere thousands of years ago, a human inhaled smoke for the first time. They couldn't have known they were beginning a habit that would eventually circle the globe. They couldn't have known that one plant would influence economies, shape cultures, generate fortunes, and affect billions of lives. But they did uncover something timeless. The human brain is powerful, yet surprisingly easy to hack. And perhaps that's the real story behind smoking. Not the story of tobacco, but the story of us. Because even in the modern world, with all our technology and knowledge, we're still carrying the same ancient mind our ancestors once carried into the wilderness. And sometimes, that ancient mind is still searching for the same rewards it searched for thousands of years ago. We may live in the future, but deep down, we were built for another world.